Hey, everybody, greetings from the GBH studios right here in the Boston Public Library. I'm Alberto Vasallo. We are launching today for the first time this collaboration series, a conversation. You know what? Candid and unfiltered conversations with community leaders from my community, the Latino community. So hang on for the next half hour, 45 minutes. Hopefully you will learn. Hopefully you will like, and I hope you laugh. So stay tuned. Coming right up, GBH amplifies Alberto Vasallo. Shout out to the Newsfeed Cafe, GBH, and the Boston Public Library for hosting us. I'm going to start by introducing my amazing guests because we're in for a treat today. One of them will sing for you. And hint, it's not me, so don't worry, don't worry. Okay, from camera left to right, I learned that from Liz. From camera left to right, we have Nare Villarroel, who's going to share, yes. She's
so
going to
glad to be
share
here today.
her amazing story and her amazing voice. She's the one who's going to be singing, so you got to stay tuned for that. Okay, to her left, and I guess you're right, J.C. Morales, Juan Carlos Morales, CEO of Surfside Capital, and as well, Unidos in Power co-founder. He wears many hats. Today, we'll try to get through as many as possible because I could probably do an hour just with you. Correct?
Thank you.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Absolutely. Starting with, you start to use Just for Men. I'm
Yeah,
just saying. I'm just saying. He's younger than me. He's got way more gray hairs.
Yeah.
To my left, Natalia Hilton, president of Alpha of Boston. Before the hour is over, before the show's over, you will learn about the wonderful work that Alpha Boston does for 25 years because you recently celebrated, the organization did 25 years.
25-year history, absolutely.
Wow. Good. And to her left, a young man that I recently met, Jody Santiago from the great city of Lawrence, Massachusetts, who has an ambitious goal.
Yes.
Jody,
Yes.
what is your goal?
My goal is to impact 1 million youth lives before the age of 30.
1 million?
Youth lives.
Oh my
Now,
God.
before they turn 30 or before you turn 30?
Before I turn 30.
Oh,
Before
okay.
both.
Okay.
Before both.
Yeah, all right. And how old are you now?
I just turned 25 years old.
Okay, excellent. So now we know. Don't worry, he's the only one that I'm going to ask the age. Natalia was getting nervous. She's already getting nervous.
I was tense.
All right, ladies and gentlemen. So you know what? Let's start with Natalie because this young lady, she has an incredible journey. She comes from the lovely country of Venezuela. Does anyone in our audience know where Venezuela is located? I didn't think so. No, I'm just kidding. Tell me what continent? Venezuela. ¿Qué
Venezuela,
continente?
¿el qué continente?
¿Qué
Yeah,
continente?
Americano.
Suramericano.
Suramericano.
South America. Yes.
So I'm very bad at geography. Let's start by there. But I'm really good at singing, so at least we got something. So yeah, I'm from Venezuela. It's bordered with Brazil, Colombia, and Guyana. And it's a very warm and tropical country. We have amazing food, but mostly we have amazing music that I love to share with people. So yeah.
Yeah. And in a little while, she's going to share her journey because less than 4 years ago,
Yeah.
you decided to come to the United States,
Yeah.
no final destination,
Yep.
and not knowing any English.
Yep.
Today, we're going to tell you the story of how 6 months ago, she sang the national anthem before a Red Sox-Yankees game this summer.
Yeah.
Amazing journey.
Best days of my life. One
Yeah,
of the
so we're
best
gonna
days of my
hear, and
life.
we're going to hear her sing a little bit. All right, J.C. Morales, good friend of the community, someone very respected and admired in the Latino community, wearing many hats. I mentioned CEO of Surfside Capital, Zone Firm, but today he's also going to talk about Unidos in Power. J.C., welcome, and
Thank you.
let's talk a little bit about Surfside Capital first.
Sure. Well, first of all, great to be here, and thank you for leading this wonderful initiative, Alberto, which is one of the pillars of our community. And
How much do I owe you? How much do I owe you?
He commented me on my hair, but he's wearing more makeup than both women here. Surfside Capital is a management consulting firm. We help businesses with complex financial advisory transactions, including mergers and acquisitions, capital raising, and fractional CFO services. It's been around for 10 years. We're delighted to be part of Boston. We focus on technology, manufacturing, consumer goods. It's my day job.
Yeah, but for the audience, right? We know this. We take it for granted in the Latino community because we know you. Don't be shy. Your resume is as impressive as anybody's in Massachusetts, okay?
Yes.
You were CFO of the year, according to the Boston Business Journal. In what year was that?
2009.
Yeah, and you oversaw transactions well over what?
Multi-billion-dollar transactions.
Billion with a B?
Yeah, with a B. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Billion or a B.
Yeah.
You've been on the advisory committee for both two governors.
Yep. Charlie Baker and Governor Healy. Yeah.
Yep. You started this incredible fund.
The Latino Equity Fund back in 2013, and then I was one of the co-founders of Alpha in 1999.
I was going to get to that.
Yeah.
The Alpha 25 years
Yeah.
ago.
Yeah.
And how much money have you raised through the fund?
We're up to about $10 million. We just got a $1 million donation
Yeah.
last week, actually, from Point 32 Health. Yeah.
Yeah. I was the anonymous donor of that $1 million, in case you know. But anyways, let's move on. We'll come back to
Yes,
you and Leaders
yes.
in Power.
I love
Natalia Hilton.
Yes,
First of all, congratulations, incoming president of Alpha Boston, a chapter here.
yes. 1 year in.
Yep.
1 year in. Started in January, but we're celebrating our 25th year anniversary this year. Thank you, Mr. Juan Carlos Morales, for being a co-founder. The
welcome.
organization's been around, like I said, for 25 years, and it's impacted and created a legacy in leadership in the community. So when you look at the landscape that is out there of professionals in the community, executives, many of them were either leaders, as in presidents of Alpha Boston, or part of our board. And so we're a group of individuals, all volunteers, where we make an impact and we drive from our hearts passionately, and that we dedicate a lot of what we do to the community, because we know that there has to be a place where Latinos are able to come together and support one another professionally. And that's what we do. And also, obviously, development is at the heart of what we do. So we have a number of different programs. We just launched our inaugural Caballeros event. And guess who? You will never guess who was a part of that.
Oh, my goodness. Let me take a wild guess.
Yes, he was a part of that.
I'm so good at these things.
Yes,
You
I
see?
mean, oh,
You see?
you're just so
I'm
smart.
great with the
Wise.
obvious.
You're just so smart. But
Light on the
it's-
Caballeros, please.
But we serve all facets of the community. So whether you're a woman, whether you identify as someone in the LGBTQIA demographic, whether you're a student, mid-career, whatever level of your career you are, Alpha Boston has something in store for you.
But Alpha Boston is a local chapter of a much larger
It is a
national
lo-
organization.
Yes, the national organization's been around for 52 years, and they have over 40 different professional chapters in all of the metropolitan areas here in the U.S., as well as in Puerto Rico and Canada.
Excellent. All right.
Canada.
Very proud of Alpha Boston. Congratulations on 25 years. We're going to hear a little bit more. Now, to your left is a young man who comes from Lawrence, Massachusetts. So hear it up. Viva Lawrence is in the house.
Yes,
Jody
sir.
Santiago, who wants to reach 1 million youth before you turn 30.
Correct. So I got 5 years.
You got 5 years,
Oh my God.
exactly. How do you plan on doing that?
Well, my goal is simple. You know, youth nowadays, they face a lot of challenges, specifically after the pandemic. You know, there's a disconnection crisis. People aren't as connected as they were before. So my goal is to bring them together, bring different cities together, bring different professions and areas of styles together. So with programming, with events, with marketing, creating job opportunities for these youth is also something I'm very passionate about. So it's gonna take a lot. I'm gonna use the sancocho analogy. It's gonna take a lot of recipes to make this work, but we're gonna make it happen.
Yeah, but remember, nobody here knows what a sancocho is other than the panel here. Maybe Annie, but that young lady saying, what's a sancocho? Do you know what a sancocho is? Okay, you're going to let her know. What is
Yes.
a sancocho?
So a sancocho is a traditional dish which is made up of a lot of different meats, víveres, plantains, and it's a soup. You know, it's a soup we make during the holidays, during big gatherings to serve many people. But it's something that is made of a lot of great ingredients, and that's what Minds with Purpose is. So to impact those million youth lives, we're going to take a lot of great ingredients, a lot of great initiatives to make it happen.
Yeah, and it's mostly a Dominican plate. It's mostly known in the Dominican
Yeah,
Republic.
correct. It's mostly Dominican.
So if you ever bump into Big Papi
Yeah.
or Manny, say, hey, want to have a sancocho? He'll say, yes, I guarantee you.
Definitely.
They're gonna be ready.
Yes. Now, Nadi, let's kind of like turn it here, right? Because
Yes.
I know I've got my Dominicans here. I know you're Dominican.
And yes, I'm
We've
Puerto
got my proud Puerto Rican, but Venezuela. So, you know, you've got Dominican Republic, Puerto Rico, Venezuela.
Cuba.
Cuba,
Well,
yeah.
Cuba.
I'm half Cuban and half Ecuadorian. And that gentleman is half asleep. Annie, can you please wake him up over there? He's half asleep. But yes, half and half, which is a phenomenon that happens a lot in the community. But tell me about your journey here to Boston. This was not your ultimate destination. When you left Venezuela, you really had no idea you would end up here at the Boston Public Library.
Not at all. Not at all. Before coming here, I was in Peru. I lived in Peru like for around 4 years, and I completely loved Peru. However, there was a lot of xenophobia the last years, which is like kind of racism, but specifically to people from outside of your country. So in Peru was against Venezuelans, and I eventually had to go because it wasn't impossible to either get a job or a life in general. And we came here, and it was such a crazy journey because originally we weren't meant to be in Boston. Wait, should I tell that part? That's so funny.
It is, because I think it's a story that most of our audience is not used to hearing.
Yeah.
In the Latino community, it is very typical.
Yeah.
But it is good that you explain to the audience how you left Venezuela, obviously why, but your journey. You were what, 20, 21 at the time?
No,
with your
when
sister?
I left Venezuela, I was 17.
Wow.
Yeah. Yeah, so I left Venezuela because I was in protest against the government, and the government has this thing called a hate law. And on the hate law, if you're against the government, they can go and persecute you and incarcerate you, even if you're as young as 15, 14, 13 years old. No one is safe there. So I was on that list of hate, and my mom, a friend of my mom told her that we should definitely go. And we knew that like on Monday, and on Tuesday, my mom got a ticket and was like, get out of here, because my mom, she is very wise, and she told me like, if you stay here, I'm gonna lose you. Either because you're gonna end up in jail unfairly, or because you're gonna end up dead. And when you're on a dictatorship, those pretty much are the options if you're against that. And I was kind of rebel on that. So we left. We went to Peru because that was the only place where someone could, take us. And I lived there for 4 years. I became an adult there. I couldn't study anything over there because unfortunately, education cost. It's very, very expensive. And when you're an immigrant, at the beginning, you are not very focused on education rather than just paying rent and eating and supporting your family in Venezuela. That's mainly the thing, supporting your family, supporting your people in Venezuela back in your country. And while I was there, we had to went out. I was there during the pandemic as well. But the situation got really hard for Venezuelans, so I had to leave, and I came here. I crossed the border, and the plan was completely different, but the people that were supposed to take us in their home, for some reason they couldn't. So we were kind of stuck in the border,
not knowing
where we're going. And it's so funny because with the friends that we had, we were so lost and we didn't have any idea about anything. So we were like, okay, people talk about Las Vegas a lot. What if we won't go there and we get jobs there? And we were just so close to do it because we were like, okay, the plan is not working anymore.
I was in Arizona. Vegas was
I was already here. I was in Arizona. The people weren't like answering their phones. They just disappear. So we were like, maybe Vegas. And a friend that was crossing with us, I crossed with my sister. And a friend that was crossing with us, he just told his cousin because he was trying to, get it out. He was very worried. He was just talking with him. And the cousin told that story on a Free Fire game. They were playing Free Fire with a couple of friends. And a friend from Free Fire told him, like, well, I live in Boston. Send them here. I'm gonna receive them.
And that's how you came to Boston.
And that's how I came here. And I'm so grateful with the Restrepo family. It was like 2 years ago. 2 years ago.
Wow. And when you came, you know very little English.
Yeah, I didn't know a lot of English. I just knew that I had to learn it.
Yep.
So I was trying to practice as much as I could. I took like a course like for 3 months or 4 months or so in Peru. But, you can do the course, you can do the lessons, but you don't have the practice. The first time that someone spoke to me English here, I was like, uh-huh.
Yeah.
See? Yes. Pollo chicken. And that was it.
And
that was it.
Yes, and that is the story of many. That is the story of my parents. That is the story of yours, immigrant families. So I'm glad you shared with that. In a little bit, she's going to share her talent and her voice because she's an amazing singer. We have a YouTube link that's coming up soon. But JC, Unidos in Power, when you hear that, that is part of the reason you have this who's who of Latino leaders who have come together to give the community a voice.
Absolutely. First of all, you might be on Venezuela's hate list, but you're in Boston's love list.
Aw.
Oh, look at
So
that.
we are so happy that you're here with us, and to hear your journey is really touching and representative to what a lot in our community are going through, right? Unidos in Power was founded about 3 years ago. We're a coalition of Latino leaders and activists that have organized to elevate the voice of the Latino community. As most of you know, we're about touch about 1 million Latinos in the Commonwealth of Massachusetts. The official numbers are 850, but there's a lot more than that, right?
Yep. We're looking at Joe Betancourt, who's part of it, Dr. Joe
yeah,
Betancourt,
that is
right?
Dr. Joe. He's our fearless leader, CEO of the Commonwealth Fund, and chair of Unidos in Power.
And I have some stats. So let's
Yeah.
take a look at those stats,
Yeah,
because
sure.
I think this is the basis. We took these off your website, right?
Yeah.
By the way, Unidos in Power. Some great statistics that go into what you were saying.
Yeah.
Maybe 850, but you're saying
There's a lot more than
there's
that.
a lot more than 850,000. So that's what you're
Yeah.
already saying. There are 1 million Latinos in Massachusetts.
And it's rapidly touching that number. It's about 15 to 20% of the population, depending on which numbers are you looking at. And what we discovered 3 or 4 years ago is that Latino voices were not doing a great job at collaborating and coordinating our voice in terms of public policy issues, right? So that was the genesis behind Unidos in Power, in which we basically took, organized the senior Latinos in our communities across the state, from Lynn to Springfield to Holyoke to Brockton, Fall River, and Boston, and started collaborating around issues that matter to the Latino community, largely education, housing, workforce development, equity in healthcare, equity in gubernatorial appointments and government appointments, right? Representation at the corporate level. We are in our 3rd year going in. We have an ambitious plan. It's going to be launched officially on January 23rd, called Unidos in Power, a 2030 vision. Where do we want to be by 2030? And launching a couple of metrics that we want to hold people accountable to in terms of the issues that matter for the Latino community.
I've got a couple more stats that I want people to know, because it kind of segues right into you. This is a great one, ladies and gentlemen. By the time I finish this, this will have happened. So read that for me, JC.
Yeah, every 30 seconds, a Latino turns 18 and becomes eligible to vote.
But you know what else happens every 30 seconds? 2 non-Latinos retire. So that is the kind of train that we're on, and that's going to happen for the next 20 years.
And by the way, we're a very diverse group of people. There's 16 nationalities amongst us. There are as many Republicans as there are Democrats, so it's not a one-size-fits-all, right? However, we are unified between some of these issues that I just mentioned around housing, education, economic development, equity issues, right? So,
We've got one more great statistic. I love this.
30,000 Latino businesses in Massachusetts generate about $4 billion in annual revenue. What's even more interesting, the fastest growing segment of any businesses in the entire Commonwealth economy, which is a 40 billion state budget, and is Latina-owned businesses. It's growing at a rate of 25% per year. It's crazy. And those businesses generate jobs, products, services. In order for the Massachusetts economy to be a thriving economy, you need the Latino community to be a thriving community.
Excellent.
100%.
Going into Alpha.
Yes,
I've known
sir.
Alpha. Alpha is one of those organizations that has been doing this, pushing this agenda, just kind of giving a voice and a platform for 25 years. For those who didn't catch you in the beginning, what's your elevator pitch? Do you see those young ladies over there? If you were to tell them, first of all, what does Alpha stand for? That's an acronym, right?
Yeah.
It is an acronym. Yes.
What is the acronym for?
So the acronym is the Association of Latino Professionals for America.
For America.
Yes.
I love that, because as I know my name, they love the United States. We're very patriotic.
Yes.
We love this, and I love the acronym that it's Latino Professionals for America.
For America. For America. It used to be finance and accounting, but in 2015, the then CEOs realized that the power of the Latino force was coming. And so identifying ourselves beyond those industries as really an organization that serves every industry out there.
Excellent. So 25 years in the
25
making.
years in the making.
You had the big 25th anniversary. I think we have some photos of that fun of
We
it. 'cause
do.
that was
25 years locally.
Locally.
25, 52
52
nationally.
That's right.
Yes, making an impact.
Javier Borrero, thank you for this. This was where was this held?
That was held at Mariel Underground in Post Office Square.
Has anybody been to Mariel? Have you been to Mariel? You like it?
She likes it.
All right. Oh, she did one of these.
Yes.
One
I
of
was giving a
these.
kiss.
Okay. So this was a couple weeks ago. And who are these lovely people?
These lovely people, some fan locals, Ana Jimenez on the far left of the screen with the green pants, our CEO, Damian Rivera, Marcela Aldaz, she is the CEO and co-founder of Arca HR. She's phenomenal. Yvonne Garcia, she was one of our past presidents, past national board chairwoman, and currently our corporate advisory board chair at the national level. What's
and
more
on the
important,
executive leadership team of State Street.
she is, I'm definitely going there. She is also the chief of staff to the State Street CEO. And she's also the global head of the communications department for State Street. She is a pillar in our community.
And she's coming to the show. I just texted her a little while ago.
Okay.
Good.
And she
Okay.
says, I'm going to be there if JC's there and Natalia's there.
Yes.
Yvonne Garcia will be here. So, again, this is a reminder. These are the type of guests that we want to have here in the show. You never know when we're going to be here. We're usually here at noon. Sometimes maybe on a Thursday, other days maybe Monday, who knows. But stop by. Don't plan on having lunch because we have great food over here at the Newsfeed Cafe. So continue because those are the
Yes.
type of guests that we want to feature. Go ahead. Alpha,
Alpha,
what's the
yes.
next 25 years
Well,
look like?
actually, Tony Curtis is on the far right there.
Oh, Tony
he
Curtis.
is our current
Yes.
chairman, and Ana Jimenez is our chief development officer at the national level. The next 25 years are powerful. We are the workforce that's gonna drive the U.S. economy. And it is because, to JC's point, many folks are going to be retiring, and we have a lot of young people between the ages of 10 and 20, all of whom are U.S. citizens, and all of whom are empowered to get an education. And they are actually, a good statistic there is 20% of the college students in the next 7 years are going to be Latinas.
Wow.
And that is a powerful number as well.
So you know what I kind of get from that? Guys, guys and girls out in the audience, all of those statistics, just remember this thing. You will soon be related to a Latino. I guarantee you in the next 5 years. Somehow, somebody in your family, we're going to sneak in there.
Yes,
and
so
be
converge on
married.
something,
and
yes.
You're going to have a Puerto Rican grandson or niece or Dominican or Venezuelan or,
Maybe.
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah, so it is a powerful economy. And what's more important is we have a drive, right? We have a personal drive. You came from Venezuela, you came for a reason, right?
Yeah.
While there was a political reason, you also came to do better. And that's the mindset of every Latino that comes here.
Well
We're
said.
here to do better, to improve not only on our own personal lives, but also community. And while JC is Puerto Rican, sort of U.S. American by legally, right? By birth. The truth is that that's part of his story. That's part of your family's story. That's part of my story, and that's part of Jody's story, and that's what we do here.
GBH
Yeah.
recently hosted an event, and one of the speakers said something. He was an author. He interviewed over 5,000 immigrants, and this is something that I took from that. I still remember, there was all statistics. He said, people always focus on the fear that immigrants are going to change America. But the one thing they don't or they discount is how much America changes immigrants
Yes.
and makes them part of the American,
Yes.
the traditional American kind of norm, right? So kids, they'll end up maybe learning, losing their native language, right?
They do.
Spanish, English becomes their primary language. You know, they start doing more American things because America changes people.
We started doing Thanksgiving.
Yeah, you started Thanksgiving. She
Thanksgiving.
wasn't
I started
celebrating
doing
Thanksgiving,
Thanksgiving.
and now you celebrate Thanksgiving. Exactly. All right, juries.
That is
Tell me
juries.
about the beautiful community of Lawrence before we get into your project, because we're very proud of Lawrence in the
Yes.
Latino community. But tell me about the city that you grew up in.
The city's thriving. I have 7 years there, so the 7 years I have there is just developing. Recently on Essex Street, Joe Wamar is developing a new building with a food court. Lawrence. Lawrence has never seen that
You're
before.
going to get a chance. I'm going to get you on.
Lawrence has never seen that, and it's just beautiful to see new schools being built, new sports complex, all of those things is happening, and very excited for it.
Excellent. All right, so your organization. Tell me about Minds with Purpose.
Yes, Minds with Purpose is a networking platform dedicated to create support and exposure for creators, entrepreneurs, and the youth. Think about it as Airbnb is the largest hospitality company, but they don't own the buildings, correct?
Right.
Uber is the largest transportation company, but they don't own the cars. Minds with Purpose in the future will be the largest networking platform, but we don't own the creatives, entrepreneurs, or the youth. We're just all working together, leveraging our shared resources to grow and live a sustainable and profitable life.
All right, we have some photos of some of your activities and some of your speaking moments because you've been active over the last couple of years. As we look at some of these photos, give me a little bit about, that's Mayor of Lawrence, ladies and gentlemen. What's that?
Mayor of Lawrence indicted me to the first ever youth committee. I am actually the chair of that youth committee, in which we are hoping to be a voice for the youth, bring more initiatives, more for the arts. You know, that's really something I'm very big on. You know, our guest right here as well is an amazing singer. We need more exposure to those things.
All right, let's take a look at another photo of you. I'm sure we've got speaking there. What was that all about?
That was in UMass Lowell in the Tsonga Center for Convocation. I was the significant social impact winner for the Difference Maker competition back in 2022, which is a competition like, you guys watched Shark Tank before?
Yes.
Yeah.
So I have years losing on these type of competitions, but I learned a lot. You know, first time I did the Difference Maker, I didn't win. But did I give up? No. I went back and did it again and ended up winning that significant social impact award. And it's all a part of my journey. You have to embrace your failure and look at it as the first step to success. I used to knock doors. Every no brings me closer to my yes. So that's the analogy I use now, and is what I've built Minds with Purpose on.
Excellent, excellent. I think we have a couple more photos because I don't want to have these photos and not use them because these are great photos. Tell me what you're doing there.
This was actually right around the street in Back Bay, and Hugh, good friend of mine, Robert Eugene, owns that spot, and I held an event called Creative Net. Creative Net, as you hear it, it's a creative networking event where we have local superstars come in from different areas of field. Right there was Marcus Sebastiano, who is from Lawrence, and my other friend Juba, who just got his PhD degree and does a lot of events in the city. There was fashion, there was music, there was live DJs, live vendors. It was amazing. We got more of those coming next year.
Yeah, and again, I want to remind everybody here, GBH and Mundo and Alberto, we are going to have these kind of folks in here so that you guys learn about these types of events. That was an amazing event that maybe folks didn't know. So please tune in here. This is your platform for this. We're going to be taking questions during this journey as well, so we'll encourage audience participation. But that's the purpose of Amplifying. You want to continue? Go right ahead.
Funny story. I was in Atlanta last weekend for a big festival for an organization called Con Mi Gente, and actually someone there recognized me. He's like, oh, I wanted to go to that event, but I didn't get to go. So they're coming, so stay tuned.
And now they're going to say, oh, I saw you on GBH Amplifies.
Yeah, thanks to Alberto. Super honored to be here, living my dreams. I remember seeing this studio on Instagram from some of my peers, and now I'm here, so appreciate you,
excellent,
man.
Excellent. Okay, the moment we've all been waiting for. You want a little music? You want something to cheer you up? Something to get you going, right?
Let's go.
All right, so, okay, a little bit we'll have a question. So let me set this up. If you just walked into the Newsfeed Cafe or you're tuning in, this young lady's journey, starting from Venezuela to Peru to Arizona to Boston, okay, not knowing any English, sang the national anthem at Fenway before a Yankees Red Sox game earlier this year.
Yeah.
Props to the Red Sox and Mundo for setting that up. She is now going to treat us to a song that you wrote after many failures. You had been applying for scholarships.
Yeah.
And you'd gotten like 3, talking about resilience. This is exactly. Tell
Actually,
us about that.
I'm gonna get in touch with you.
Yeah.
I like your philosophy about I know it's just getting me closer to my yes, because for me it was so hard to understand that. It was so hard when I started, because since I went out of Venezuela, my main goal was studying. I'm a nerd and I love studying, but I really didn't get the chances till now. Now I'm studying finally, and I'm very happy about it. But I wrote this song after like 3 different scholarships rejected me.
Wow.
And I was like very heartbroken, but I think that it has been the best note that I have ever received. Since thanks to that note, I wrote this song, and thanks to this song, people started getting to know me a little bit more. Alberto heard it, and that was the contact that I did. And now I'm here thanks to that note. So I'm very, very grateful to be here. I'm kind of nervous as well. I feel that in some moment the English will fail, but well,
No?
till now the English is Englishing. So
All right, so we're
But
gonna
yeah.
play first a little clip. We're gonna play a little clip. What's up, Ryan
Yeah.
Sullivan is in the house. I see Ryan Sullivan. Sergio Leon is in the house. Angie is in the house.
Peggy
Maximo. Wilfredo Torres is in the Wilfredo Castillo is in the house. Maximo Torres. So we're gonna play a little YouTube clip,
Oh,
and
yeah.
then if you guys behave, she's gonna do it a cappella. Okay?
We're gonna
you gotta
do it
give a little
together.
round of, there you go, that young man. All right, so let's look at the clip, and then you're gonna come back and do
Yeah.
it for us live.
No está mal porque el éxito siempre es individual, un poquito de fracaso no está mal. Anita ya es modelo, María es influencer, Carlos el banquero y yo sigo en el medio, la mesera, anfitriona, la venta, la compra. ¿Qué quieres que hago? Todo esto me ahoga, el bill, el internet, la comida, el alquiler, enviar a Venezuela pa' que los viejos estén bien. Quizá no lo logré, para otros lo alcancé. Lo único que es cierto es que ya me cansé. Un poquito de fracaso no está mal, porque el éxito siempre es individual. Un poquito de fracaso para aprender. Mi perspectiva cambió. Disfruta el camino. Hay miles de formas para llegar al destino. No has fracasado ni estás estancado. El que está dentro triunfa, también el exilio. Tu ritmo es tu ritmo, no es tarde ni temprano. El pecho hacia afuera, mirada hacia el frente, bailando el camino y fijando el destino. Un poquito de fracaso no está mal porque
Right here. Unbelievable. And now, what people don't notice, that was me on the piano. I just had a wig on. Yeah. A little
Absolutely.
unknown skill. I just
secret's
want to be
out.
anonymous with that. No, but I'm just, who is the young man on the piano?
He is one of the friends that I made here. He's a great pianist. He's also studying. He's called Adrián Marcelo, and he is amazing. He's also Venezuelan.
Excellent.
Great.
All
Yeah.
right.
Yes.
All right, so now you've seen the YouTube. She's going to do this a cappella. All right, but she needs a little help, right? You need a little.
Yeah, of
Come
course.
on, JC.
I want everyone to sing
Everybody
it
in
with
the
me
audience.
and, to participate. It's I love the lyrics of that, and some people say that it's like really sticky. Is that a thing in English?
Yeah,
Well,
yeah.
sticky. It's sticky. And it says like a little bit of failure is not bad. Like it's not bad for
A
you.
little bit of
so
failure is not
a
bad,
little
yeah.
bit of failure is not bad for you. So yeah, we're gonna sing it. We're gonna do like yeah, exactly. And the people over there also.
Come on,
the ones that are
Angie.
getting
Come on,
the coffee.
Sergio, Ryan, Máximo,
Yeah.
Maribel.
Un poquito de fracaso no está mal, un poquito de fracaso no está mal, un poquito de fracaso no está mal. Anita ya es modelo, María influencer, Carlos el banquero y yo sigo en el medio, la mesera, anfitriona, la venta, la compra. ¿Qué quieres que hago? Todo esto me ahoga. El bill, el internet, la comida, el alquiler. Enviar a Venezuela para que mis viejos estén bien. Quizás no lo logré, para otros lo alcancé. Lo único es que es cierto es que ya me cansé.
Wow.
Bravo.
Okay.
It's so, can I say that? I'm sorry.
Yes.
It's so...
And now,
My voice kind of broken on that Venezuela part because I could never imagine that going out of Venezuela would end up here. I'm so grateful
that's
to be
okay.
here.
That's okay, young lady. And if we want to find that song, how can we do it? Is it coming out on Spotify? or-
Yeah, so right now it's on YouTube. That was actually applying for another scholarship. I didn't get that one either. But I did get the other one now. I'm studying, so yeah.
Yes.
And we're gonna launch on a Spotify version very soon. We haven't decided yet if we're gonna do it as an acoustic like that one, or something a little bit,
Beat it,
more
yeah.
exactly. Cause I feel that at the end of the day, it's a song that you want to listen when you are feeling like everything's going wrong.
Yeah.
So maybe something more, more fun, a little bit more alive. But yeah, we're gonna have it on Spotify very soon, and we're gonna also have it in all of the platforms like Apple
So,
Music.
so when you
etc.
become famous, you have to
Ay.
come back here.
Exactly.
Toco
Okay?
madera, touching
You got to
wood.
come back here.
Touching wood. I'm gonna go back here. I'm gonna go to that house, to that beautiful Colombian family that received me with not knowing me, and yeah,
Excellent.
it's enjoying everything. I'm enjoying everything. I'm
What
sucking
was their
this up.
family? The name? The
The,
Restrepo.
those are Restrepo family.
Restrepo. I will
Yeah,
never
Juan
forget that.
Restrepo. I will never forget when I'm millionaire, I'm gonna pay their kids scholars.
You know what I'm
So
saying?
they won't have to apply to scholarships like me.
Angels. There are always angels
Yeah.
in life. There
Yeah.
were
Yeah.
angels in your life.
They were angels in my life.
All
Deeply.
right. Well, you know what we're going to do now? We're going to get the audience to participate.
Ooh.
Okay.
So if you have questions, Annie, are you okay? We'll be taking your questions, and I think people have been writing. So Peggy Pratt is in the house. Peggy, how are
Hey,
you?
where are you?
Peggy, I see some familiar faces. Sergio, Angie, Máximo Torres de Perú. ¿Cómo estás, Máximo? Máximo es el máximo.
Yeah.
And Wilfredo Castillo as well. Sandra Burke Lopez is in the house. All right, question.
We have two that have been written in. People are a little shy to come up to the microphone so far, but please come up with your questions. We don't bite. The first, what's the role of Latinos in the future of Massachusetts in the workforce, economy, culture, etc.?
I think that's a good one for you. Juan. And,
Yeah.
and another.
Well, if I understand the question, what's the role of Latinos in the future? The way I would answer that is, every state, every nation has its own economic engine, right? And I think one of the many roles of Latinos in this is how do we contribute to the economic engine of the Commonwealth, which is currently faced with major labor shortages, right? And people actually leaving this state. If you back out the contributions of the growth of the Latino community, the population of the state would actually be shrinking. And that's really bad for businesses. That's really bad for economic well-being. So that's one of the ways that I would answer that.
Absolutely. You want to add to that, or?
Culturally, if I may.
Yeah.
Yep.
If you look at the restaurant scene, we are growing, and we're driving a lot of that scene. This is one.
This is
Carolicious.
Newsfeed Cafe.
Yeah.
Right over here. Carolicious, Venezuelan food. So
Yeah.
we have, where's Carolina? Carolina, un saludo para Carolina. ¿Cómo estás, Carolina?
Yes.
Mira, tu compatriota
Is she
de
making
Venezuela.
arepas? I'm
Yes.
gonna go
Yeah.
there
Arepas
right away.
in the house. So stop by and ask for Carolicious and Carolina right here at the Newsfeed Cafe at the Boston Public Library. So culturally, right?
So culturally, the restaurant scene, whether they're Latino-owned businesses or not, that the presence of our ingredients is definitely in the scene. If you look, so I grew up in Lawrence and lived there for 37 years. If you look at the restaurant scene, you have Japu, which is a fusion of Japanese culture and Peruvian food. You have a number of Dominican fusion with Puerto Rican, Cuban. So Mariel, where we actually hosted, they're a Cuban fusion restaurant, even though it's not necessarily Latino owned. So that is a lot of what our culture drives. From an arts perspective, where we have someone here right on stage with us, and so that's going to continue to, I think, be a driving force as well. And then from feeding the gaps that JC just mentioned, the gaps that are going to continue to exist, we're going to continue to help with that.
And
as
I'll give
well.
you another fun one. Go ahead, Jared. I'll give you another fun one before I go.
I was going to say breaking barriers too. Look at Juan Soto. He just
Yes.
signed the largest MLB contract, Dominican native. So things like that is paving the way for other youth. And my goal is to showcase our youth from underrepresented communities that it's possible that they do have a route to follow.
And
And
that's what I was going to get to, right? Who helped break the curse in 2004?
It
A
was-
guy with the last name Ramirez,
Yeah.
Ortiz,
Mine's
and Martinez,
yeah,
right?
Yeah.
Oh my
So
God.
that, and now we have Chapman, the lefty, the Cuban, and who's the manager?
Yeah.
Your
Yeah,
compatriota,
yeah, yeah,
Puerto
yeah.
Rican,
Yeah.
Alex
Alex
Cora.
Cora.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Well, yeah, I would also add, if you look at innovation industries like biotech, climate, health science, right? a lot of those industries, and by the way, Massachusetts is the proud leader of innovation in the entire nation. Governor Healy just passed a $4 billion economic development bill, out of which $1 billion gets stacked against artificial intelligence, climate, resiliency, and biotech, right? We play in that space. I just met a doctor, a PhD from Buenos Aires the other day that has a wonderful startup in gene therapy and innovation coming out of MIT, right? So it's all happening.
You have a hat. You've just been named on the board of,
Yes.
Of a company.
This is
of-
fresh breaking news.
Breaking
right?
news, breaking news. Liz, you wanted breaking news? We have
Yeah.
breaking news.
Yeah, the press release went out just yesterday. I just been appointed to serve on the board of Greentown Labs, which is the largest climate tech innovator in the entire nation. And those are companies that are contributing to get closer to carbon neutral, improve the greatest challenge of our generation, which is the climate crisis, right? It's better of Somerville and in Texas, and I'm incredibly proud of being part of that.
Absolutely, we love it.
Yay.
Okay, let's relook at Annie. Annie, do we have another question? That was a great question. Whoever asked
Ooh.
that was awesome.
We have
Yeah,
few
thank you for that
questions.
question. We do have another one. Yuri's from Angie. Please talk about plans for 2025 mentorships and internships.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Definitely. Thank you, Angie. Great question. So 2025, we are planning a college tour. There is 114 universities in Massachusetts, and the goal is to go into every single school with our culture. You know, we want to go with artistics, we want to go with entrepreneurship, we want to go with emotional intelligence, creative advancement, all of those different topics to really showcase the youth that it doesn't matter what field they're in, if they're a certain major, that they still need to come together and support one another. So for 2025, if you attend a school, if you're a faculty member, please reach out. Let's make this a movement. The goal is to really create something new that hasn't been seen before. A lot of schools have something called Barstool Sports in their school, and my goal is to kind of come with a different, more productive, efficient movement with minds of purpose.
Excellent. All right, we are getting ready to wrap this first historic show.
Oh
So
my
I want to
God.
thank our guest, Natty.
That
Natty,
was so
see how
fast.
quickly time passes
Yeah,
when you're having fun?
I'm so impressed.
Yes, absolutely. JC, thank you again. I know you
Welcome.
wear many hats, very busy. You took time from your busy schedule to stop by today.
Yeah.
Natalia Hilton, do you have any relation to the Hilton? Are you the heiress of the Hiltons? Oh, that's just the Dominican Hilton. It's something- it's
That's
different.
Dominican Hilton.
Yeah,
Yes,
sorry.
yes.
And Yuri, are you back to Lawrence now?
Yeah, back to Lawrence.
Excellent.
Yep.
Stop by Cantina.
Cantina?
La
Yes,
Cantina.
definitely.
Right on Essex Street and Jackson Street, right?
Yep,
Say hi to Joel.
definitely will.
Absolutely.
I say hi to Victor from La Greca.
Oh, yes, La Greca. Yes, we are name dropping little restaurants and places in Lawrence that you might want to hang out and go to. Again, Carolicia's Venezuelan food is right here at the Boston Public Library. And we are going to say goodbye because we look forward to our next show. Always leaving wanting more. Again, thank you, and we will be back soon.
Thank
Stay
you.
tuned. Thank you,
Great job.
GBH Amplifies. GBH Amplifies. We will be back. Thank you.